This video contains future spoilers for House of the Dragon. The Dance of the Dragons was the Targaryen civil war fought between two rival factions, the Blacks and the Greens. The Blacks were led by King Viserys' only surviving child by his first wife, Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, while the Greens were led by Viserys' second wife, Alicent Hightower, and their eldest son, Aegon II. This video focuses on Rhaenyra and the Blacks as they took their first steps in the Dance of Dragons. In the year 129 AC, Rhaenyra's half-brother Aegon II was crowned King of Westeros in the Dragon Pit of King's Landing. During the crowning, Princess Rhaenyra was giving birth while on her third day of labor. The news of Aegon's crowning sent Rhaenyra into a crazed fury since she was the rightful heir to the throne. She cursed Aegon and his mother Queen Alicent, screaming of the torment she would do to them before she let them die. The Maesters on Dragonstone said her rage is what brought the baby out. However, when the baby was finally born, she was described to be malformed, twisted, and stillborn, with a hole in her chest where her heart should have been and a stubby, scaled tail. The baby was named Visenya after Aegon the Conqueror's sister wife, and died soon thereafter. The death of her child and only daughter pushed Rhaenyra over the edge, as she said, "She was my only daughter, and they killed her. They stole my crown and murdered my daughter, and they shall answer for it." Rhaenyra then called a council together which would later be known as the Black Council. If you want to hear about Alicent and her subsequent Green Council, check out this video. The Black Council consisted of many members including Princess Rhaenyra, her husband and uncle Prince Daemon Targaryen, Lord of Driftmark Corlys Velaryon and his wife Princess Rhaenys, her close counselor Maester Orwyle, her three sons Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey Velaryon, two knights of the Kingsguard, Sir Eric Cargyle and Sir Lorent Marbrand, and a dozen other lesser lords. Those who were on the Black Council considered themselves loyalists, but they all knew Aegon II and his forces would soon name them all traitors against the realm. The Blacks did not have as many advantages on their side when compared to the Greens. Back in King's Landing, Aegon's Master of Coin, Tywin Lannister, seized her father King Viserys' royal treasury, leaving nothing for Rhaenyra. But with the Sea Snake at her side, Rhaenyra had all the wealth of House Velaryon behind her, and that also meant superiority at sea. Rhaenyra also had her husband, Prince Daemon, who had more war experience than all her enemies combined, since he spent years fighting in the Stepstones alongside Corlys. Her last and arguably largest advantage in the war was the number of dragons she had on her side. Rhaenyra had a total of 12 dragons of fighting size who could be used in the war. The dragons with riders were Rhaenyra with Syrax, Daemon with Caraxes, her children Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey with Vermax, Arax, and Tyraxes, and Princess Rhaenys with Meleys. The other 6 dragons on Rhaenyra's side had no riders yet, but some would soon be claimed. Those 6 dragons were King Jaehaerys and Queen Alizane's dragons Vermithor and Silverwing, Laenor Velaryon's dragon Seasmoke, and 3 wild dragons native to Dragonstone, Sheepstealer, Grey Ghost, and the Cannibal. Rhaenyra also had the dragons Stormcloud and Moondancer on her side, but they were too young and small to be used in the fight. Her dragons greatly outnumbered Aegon and the Greens since they only had a total of 4 dragons on their side. King Aegon rode the dragon Sunfire. His brother Prince Aemon claimed Vhagar after Laena Velaryon's death. His other brother Prince Daeron rode Tessarion, and his wife Queen Helena rode Dreamfire. At the Black Council, Daemon surprisingly proposed that we must fight this war with words before we go to battle. Rhaenyra must have a coronation of her own, and after that they would send ravens all over the kingdoms calling on their lords to declare their allegiance to the true queen. The Greens had only won the support of the Lannisters, Tyrells, and Hightowers at that point, which left all the rest of the realm's lords free to win over. The council decided that the Baratheons of Storm's End, the Arryns of the Eyrie, and the Tullys of the Riverlands would be their best starting point. The council finalized their plans and decided Daemon would go forth on his dragon Caraxes to Harrenhal to organize a meeting place for the Riverland lords. Rhaenyra would remain on Dragonstone to recover her strength from the childbirth, and Corlys would send the Velaryon fleet to close off the gullet and stop any ships from entering or leaving Blackwater Bay. Rhaenyra's 2 eldest sons, Jacaerys and Lucerys, would also be used as envoys to win over the other lords to their side. Jacaerys would fly to the Eyrie, White Harbor, and Winterfell on his dragon Vermax, while Lucerys would go south to Storm's End on his dragon Arax. The next day, a coronation was held for Rhaenyra. During Aegon's crowning in the Dragon Pit, Sir Steffon Darklyn of the Kingsguard switched sides for Rhaenyra and stole the crown of her father King Viserys and the old King Jaehaerys before him to bring it to Dragonstone for her. Daemon placed the crown on Rhaenyra's head and proclaimed her first of her name, Queen of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men. Daemon would go on to be named Protector of the Realm, while her son Jacaerys would be named Prince of Dragonstone and heir to the Iron Throne. Her first official orders as queen were to declare Queen Alicent and her father Otto Hightower as traitors and rebels. King Aegon and his siblings would be spared should they decide to bend the knee to her. When word of Rhaenyra's coronation got back to Aegon, he declared, "My half-sister and my uncle are guilty of high treason. I want them attainted, I want them arrested, and I want them dead. His mother, Queen Alicent, and wife Helaena convinced Aegon to send Maester Orwyle to Dragonstone with terms of parley. Aegon reluctantly agreed and sent him away. Once he arrived at Dragonstone, Rhaenyra told him, "You are no Grand Maester, and you bring only shame and dishonor to that chain you wear." She stripped his chain of office from his neck and bestowed it upon her own maester, Maester Gerardus, and sent Orwyle back to King's Landing. Word got back to Aegon, and all he had to say was, "I offered her an honorable peace, and the whore spat in my face. What happens next is on her own head." What happened next was war. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, check out our other videos about A Song of Ice and Fire lore. We also have a Twitter page now, so feel free to follow that. With all that said, thanks for watching, and fire will reign.